Hello people, I hope you're having an amazing day today. Today I want to take a look at my next module that I'm doing a review of for you folks for Mondays and such that I've been doing over the last few weeks. And before that I did top 10s of things from Battletech, different TROs, and then before that I did all my favorite modules from Dungeons & Dragons 2, so I thought it'd be fun for me to do this too. The last 3 weeks I did the Pulp Era 81, 82 trilogy by Tom Moldvay from B4 last week, The Lost City, and then Castle Lambert from 2 weeks ago, and then the Isle of Dread X1, my favorite module of all time. Let's just get things started off from 81. And he also did that with David Cook, Zeb Cook too. I thought it was great stuff. So I thought it would be fun for me to move now to another one of my favorite modules out there ever. It's not one that gets as much credit, but to my mind it's just as classic, just as strong, just as great a framework to do as Isle of Dread to set up a lot of stuff. I love it lots. This is CM1, Test of the Warlords from 1984. It's written by Douglas Niles. The cover art is done by Caldwell. Love Clyde Caldwell's cover art here. I think it's just absolutely epic. The interior art is by Jeff Easley. Love it lots. It's the first of the CM series, as you can tell from the name, CM1, Test of the Warlords, and so forth. Well, what does that mean? It tells you that this is in back to me, and so forth, and this is the first of the companion modules. And I think it does such a great job, just like X1, just like B1, at setting up what this is about. So basically the idea here at back of me, the B stands for basic. That's the first 3 levels of adventuring. This is basically dungeon delving and that sort of a thing. And things there like B4, The Lost City, or B1 in Search of the Unknown, those sorts of things are about learning how to do combat and so forth, how to DM for the people that are running the module, that sort of a thing. So that's basically the core concepts of what's happening with that. And so in the B, the first 3 levels. Then at the E, and those ones will begin with X, those modules, that's basically the next section. That takes you from 3rd level to 8th level. It's where you're learning more spells, more things. This is really more about exploration and so forth. And so this is you'll kind of go from hex to hex. Who knows what you're going to run into? Maybe one many monsters. Maybe it's something that's set. And that sort of a thing. So that's what this is all about, exploring yourselves and so forth. Then now we're at CM. And the CM modules, this is the B in CM companion. That stands for companion. This is from name level up. And then basically the idea here is that you are taking over kingdoms, you're taking over fiefdoms and so forth, and running them and bringing order against the lawless areas. And then you're also learning how to fight. There's actually ways to fighting, not in terms of yourself personally, but leading combats as a general. So you're going to recruit armies, you're going to fight with them and fight against other folks on the battlefield and such. So that's basically the key parts, running and fighting on the front. So then the M for back me stands for master. That takes you up to level 36, and that idea is that you are kind of exploring the multiverse, or you are trying to get to immortal and become kind of like a demigod, if you will, in my star. And then the last one is the I for back to me, and that's the immortals. That's for three issues, and so forth. So this is the CM. I love it lots. I think he does such an amazing job at setting this up. So basically, again, the idea here is that this is an epic adventure of you arriving in basically what's northern fantasy Canada and settling. The PCs are name level now, and they've all arrived. There are a bunch of different people that are arriving and so forth. This place is called Norwold. It's unsettled. It does have some settlements here and there, like Leha is a halfling shires and such. So there are some settlements out there, if you will, but most of it is just basically unsettled. And so forth. It's called Norwold. It's going to be settled under King Erikel, who is the son. But he is a fighter son of Alphasia, where you have to be a wizard to rule. So his empress so he's sort of like the less, he can't inherit the throne. So she decides to give him this colony to send him on his way. and so forth. So he's going to be arriving, and he's going to be leading this and so forth in our world and so forth. So this has a lot of campaign political injuries. There's going to be a war. You're literally going to be a warlord. In this case, you're going to settle places. You're going to have a bunch of people that are here to settle, and are going to be taking different hexes and so forth off the grid in a map. This is an epic adventure in every sense of the word, and so forth. I like using this in my campaign after folks have become tired of dungeoneering and need something else to do, right? If they're tired of dungeoneering, they're tired of exploring, right? And so forth. So now this is the next thing, right? So if you want to continue this character rather than just retiring them and have kids or something like that, then I think that this is the next thing. It just slides in perfectly, and so forth. There's a war as a generals to your territorial army that you have to raise and so forth, and then pay yourself and stuff too. You'll have each month you'll go through and so forth, and you roll 4 domain events and that sort of a thing. You have to have different morales based on how good or bad your morale is. Different things can happen. You'll have a kingdom rating too. That'll rise or fall based on what you're doing or the random events that are happening too. And then also when you're initially assigned, you're going to be given different things, and they're going to give you different tax and production revenues, different populations, and that sort of a thing based on where you want to go and such. And so you can definitely run this so well with it and so forth. And then you hire different people too, and some people you won't be able to hire first, but you'll need and so forth later on and such. And this is a great. So building your army, building a fort. So basically what I did when I ran this is I actually used the castle guide from 2nd edition, which has all the rules on how to make a castle. And we actually made a castle, fortifications, all that stuff from the castle guide and so forth, and used that over here. And so it's a great GP sync. Running your own kingdom, so raising your own army, hiring your own advisors, seneschals, marshals, being a general, hiring and training a group of an entire army, right? It's a great GP thing and such. And so this is a great way to get that stuff out of people's hands, and it'll cause they're going to really truly believe in, right? And raising and building a castle, also the same thing in just other areas and that sort of thing. So you've got all that stuff in it. So I actually combined those two here very nicely. And that sort of a thing. So this basically goes from hack and slash to court intrigue, if you will. Politics is a key part. You're going to be choosing sides, whether pro or against hysterical, and that sort of a thing. And pro or against Alphasia. There's going to be a war, literally, in this and so forth. He's single at the beginning of this, and it goes on for 2 years. So basically what I like to do here is I like to use those 2 years to set up. There are some things here too that you'll be doing. So it's not just 2 years of plot lines. There's like little modules, inner modules within it too, little dungeons and so forth. So what I like to do is I like to colonize and add things here too in this era. For that 2 years, kind of like what I did with Isle of Dread. I would have them while exploring the Isle of Dread. My parties, they would actually come across different entrances to different on-theme places, like White Plume Mountain, which is a volcano, or the Hidden Shrine of Timoichin, and so forth, that sort of things. Or Dwellers of the Forbidden City, the I-9. So I will be adding those in, and so I made it this big giant thing. I've done the same thing here too. I turn this into a normal, and that's going to be good because a lot of these next ones coming out in the CM are going to be assuming that you're going to be running this, and they're going to be in that era. But none of them are at this level. It's a classic, love it lots. Douglas Niles nailed this module out of the park from beginning to end. And so forth. It's an absolute 10 out of 10. If I could give it an 11 out of 10 to a module, this would be an 11 out of 10. But I just want to do that because, I want to be honest and true to myself. Nothing can get better than a 10 out of 10 for you folks. But that is my thoughts on CM1, the Test of the Warlords, from 84 for you folks. It's off the companion era. It sets up my star well, and so forth. It's strong stuff, level lots. So have you played this? Have you run this? Have you read it and so forth? What do you think about it? Do you agree or disagree by 10 on 10? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I try to keep these reviews spoiler free, so I've just given you the first little bit and a brief taste of the end and so forth, but I've tried to keep it spoiler free, so please do that and so forth. So please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, whatever your thoughts are, whether you agree or disagree. I'm just a fan of this stuff. I try to do 3 of these reviews. Try to do one of these, either, like I mentioned earlier, either an RPG review like this one, or a war game on this Monday that I did to keep these things. So if you like this, why not hit the subscribe button and then check those out from the previous ones. I've done 4 previously, all in the X or B series and so forth. So this is my 5th one I've done in a row. So hit the subscribe button, the like button, the bell icon to be notified of my videos, and then just watch them. I also do a Wednesday to video games. I have a Friday where I do top 10 of movies. On Saturday, I do the Serial Saturday, where I do a lot of those forgotten sort of tellings and that sort of a thing. And going back to those sorts of things, we're going to be doing The Shadow from 1940, made by Columbia, from that serial era. We're doing a review of that. And then I also do, for my final 3 days, I do reviews of older things like books or short stories or that sort of a thing in the fantasy, horror, or science fiction genres. That cover for this channel. And that's because the name of this channel is The Worst Thing About New Books. It's a quote by a French philosopher who said that the worst thing about them was they kept us from reading the old ones. In this case, you're reading the module first, but then you're playing it. But you get the idea of these heavily influential things, or things we might not have heard about, that we need to go back and take a look at. That's the passion of this channel comes from. And then finally, I just want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it in watching my videos, right? Because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions, right? So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.